Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back. Oh, that was pretty good.
That was good.
This is the first episode since the holiday hiatus of Lachlan, new mayor of Cairns.
Oh, new mayor.
The new mayor of Cairns. As my number one kind of, I guess, election promise, I will close down the nightclub Gilligan's.
Okay, yeah, love
it's
that.
not a good time. I've never felt so old, especially going to the exclusive nightclub, The Attic, which is on top of it. It's not a vibe. I don't care how the Saints and Sinners party went.
Is it like backpacker vibe?
It really
Cairns?
is. Because, well, Gilligan's is half nightclub, half backpackers.
Oh,
so
there you go,
really
see?
good. But where we stayed was beautiful.
Beautiful.
I enjoyed my time immensely, but now it's time to enjoy this time immensely.
Yes.
It's been, 2-3 weeks since we've done an episode?
1 week since you looked at me.
I didn't realize Bare Naked Ladies was going to come up so soon. I really enjoyed this one. So everybody, this is a special episode.
Yeah.
I mean, would it not be Grab the Trace without a special episode?
Right?
So before we jump into it, Mikaela, a little bit of a check-in.
Yeah.
How are you going?
I'm actually going pretty good. Not too bad. I'm easing into the new job. My husband recently went away, and when I said recently, like today, went to New Zealand. So,
I mean, how awful.
Right? And then
Can
decided...
one moment? There we go. The eye roll is back, everybody. It would help if you spoke into the microphone as well.
The sass, honestly.
Okay. So Brock's gone...
That's what happens when you're talking to the microphone.
Brock's gone where? Sorry, to New Zealand.
To New Zealand.
Can you do a New Zealand accent?
Absolutely not. I can't.
I was going to lead into it. I was going to follow you in.
I can't. All it reminds me of is all our Kiwi workers.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's get into it.
Oh,
that was pretty rough.
Yuck. Nah, fish and chops.
Fish and chops, everybody.
Please stop.
Well, if you were to return the question to me, what would my answer be, do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, I've been really good.
Well, my response was going to be there's a bit of news for the show.
News?
There's a bit of news for the show.
News.
Is that not only is Mikaela enjoying her work, but that I will be joining Mikaela imminently, unless I have to cut this out because I backed out of handing in my notice.
Yep.
I've been offered an opportunity to join Mikaela at Outcast Group.
Yeah.
And assuming this has all gone well, I've decided to accept. So your podcast mum and dad are back to working together.
We're working
The work
together.
besties are back.
Right?
It was getting really tough just being like a bestie.
I know.
Like I feel like
the transition was hard.
I'm a bit of a title guy and I need like just a little bit more like a captain bestie.
Are you excited to work together again?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Like it's just going to be nice not having to like text all the time.
I know,
we're still going to text, but like
we
it's
were
just
even
gonna be,
emailing. It was too much.
Oh, it was. I mean, not horrible, but like it was just getting a bit much. Like not as streamlined as it used to be.
You have no idea. For what, 8 weeks? 8 weeks now. I have been buying coffee by myself.
It's been longer than that, hasn't it?
9 weeks. 9 weeks.
Yeah, I think because you
9
said
weeks. I've been at my new job.
So I'll be joining. I think mid to late August is when that'll kick off.
Yeah.
So
how exciting!
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll do a few episodes from The Office if we can't get away one day. We can
Should
do a new
I come
change
in
of
for
scenery.
the farewell lunch?
I mean, that's just Why not? Why not? Let's do it.
Controversial.
Listen, everybody, special episode. No inspiration gram. No apartment progress because we haven't done anything.
Yep.
We've lied to you again.
We did.
No interviews with Myers Elliott.
No.
But we'll find out what it is after the introduction if I can press the right button.
Yeah, nailed it.
Welcome to Grab the Trace, a home design podcast here to help you deliver your next project to its full potential. If you're looking for some tips and secrets whilst building a new home, renovating, or even just picking some window furnishings, stick around, pull up your plans, and let's grab the trace. Would you like to discuss, bring up what we're doing?
All right. So, or can I like...
Yeah, you sent me a message this morning. You said, Lachlan,
I said,
for once in my life, I'm going to lead the charge on the podcast front.
Okay, let's all just be real to all the listeners.
All the viewers, all the fans,
watching,
all the playboys and playgirls.
The amount or the lack of effort.
Don't focus on the... Listen, don't focus on the lack of what you do. Focus on the amount that I do. Okay, because then there's no negatives. It's all praise.
True. So I don't edit the podcast. Let's just say that right there.
Nope.
I am okay. Did we hear that? A little bit
of sis.
venom. So I'm not technological minded
or inclined. DIY and technology are not your fortes.
It's not for me. I have people that do that.
You do. You've got minions.
So I think the payoff here is like, I'll host the
thought you were
location.
going to say the payoff is you get to just like be in my presence.
You just get to chat to me.
You just have to spend 8 hours a week putting it together.
No. So I think the payoff is I host the location of the potty. I feed you.
Yes. Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have dinner one night a week. Usually we do our little potty. Also, it's just, I think, an opportunity for you and my husband and Nick
I was trying to figure out where that was going.
To have a chat and to talk golf, honestly.
Yeehaw.
And then, obviously, I just bring all the chat.
Yeah. I mean, banter general.
Woo.
The banter brigadier in charge,
Woo.
Mikaela.
And obviously, all my expertise.
Oh, obviously in the design world, in the commercial design world now. I mean, in
residential. Did you think I just
moisturizer like recommendations
wow.
like so many things. Like I still haven't caved and bought an electric blanket because Caitlin's worried it's going to set the house on fire.
You know what? I'm never going to add you to my referees on my.
Why you did for my passport? Oh, your passport, my passport. Mikaela forgot to get her passport in time. That's why she's not in New Zealand. Everybody.
Don't
that and also it's cold and like, why would you want to go colder?
Well, if you're already cold.
I mean, that's a good point.
Just commit.
Just commit.
No. So what I was getting to was this morning, I had this revelation. I woke up and I was like, you know what?
Please don't slam the desk.
I get them.
All right. Twice in a row.
No.
Clip that one. See you on Instagram.
So I just thought over the past few weeks we've been flat chat at work, both of us. So we've been doing a lot of inspiration grams. We've been doing
the plan redraws on the iPad.
Plan redraws, because that's just like off the cuff. That's what we do every day, so we can kind of smash those out. But I feel like it's been a hot minute since people have kind of gotten some real design knowledge from us and from our perspective, and a little bit of getting to know us.
Especially now we're in video format.
Right.
I mean, people are looking at us, they're like, oh my goodness, they're so gorgeous, but I don't know anything about them. They're so mysterious.
Ooh, I am the furthest thing from mysterious. I am an open book. But what I thought I would do is put a list of questions together that I feel like people will benefit from if they haven't been with us from like the very first kind of episodes or the building block episodes or each like room area. I feel like this is a good little like brief overview to bring everyone back.
Like you've seen the little clips on Instagram. You've commented how good Mikaela looks with short hair. The fans are loving everything. But let's listen. We're willing to let you in because you're listeners, you're viewers, you're fans of the show. Yeah. You're my mum. You're Mikaela's mum.
Yeah.
Let us let you in. Okay. So Mikaela's curated a list of, I think there's like 11 or 12 questions here. Yeah. I threw one in and I can't remember whereabouts I threw it in. Hopefully I put it in the right spot.
I do. So I know where it went.
Would you like to kick it off with the first question?
All right. I'm going to ask you and you're going to, I'll go second. So if you had to choose a personal design style that represents you, what would it be and why?
Okay. So
if you say contemporary, I'll slap you.
No, I think, here's the thing. I think before the podcast, before working at HAL with you, I would have said I would have said minimalistic.
Okay.
But I don't think my definition of minimalistic is minimalistic anymore.
True to form.
Like Kanye and Kim's house, that's minimalistic. Like that is just bare walls is the finish. Like it's stunning. My version of minimalistic is just clean and simple, not overly cluttered. Okay. I'm a little bit like, I would prefer things behind doors rather than like open bookshelves of like photos and stuff. Yeah, I'm more just about structured rooms, I guess. Having said that, since hanging out with you, since doing the inspiration grams for the projects, I'm going to, instead of saying a style necessarily, I think what I strive to live and create, that project that I brought, the Harcourt house, the one that's with the greenstone kitchen and the timber.
Yeah.
It's all about
Brizzy.
all about texture now to me.
Okay.
It's natural light, texture, and just a little bit of razzle dazzle. Like I don't need everything to be a feature.
Okay.
But just a couple of statement things that you can have people over. They go, my goodness, are you for real? And that's why I think I kind of pushed maybe a little bit harder with Caitlin to be like, we're doing skylights. This is happening now.
Yeah.
Because the difference, it's one, a statement, two, more natural light. It's a little bit like nice in winter as well, walking out and like being able to see things. So I think that's where my style's at. So I'd say probably more, how would you describe that kind of a style? Like it's more contemporary.
I would actually say I would always describe your style just from, again, third person or like different perspective. I would describe your style as like definitely Australian design. Like even with your landscaping, your use of space, natural light, ventilation, it is very like vernacular design or like Queensland orientated.
Please keep going. I'm going to put this on my LinkedIn.
Oh, but it's all about, you're definitely designing with Queensland in mind and our climate and our culture and indoor, outdoor, very form function, but you still like brick and powder coated aluminium and steel and I don't know, it is contemporary.
I'm forging my own path, it sounds like.
It's minimalist, but it's very Australian, I would say. Australian contemporary.
I would say very early on I struggled with the whole more is or less is more thing where I would put something together like an apartment building or an exterior design or something. And honestly, the best result is pulling things away. Like I've kind of got like a little bit of an internal rule now that in a project, I want 3 to 4
materials.
Oh, not even materials, but 3 to 4 themes.
Okay.
Like if I'm like the overarching theme for a development, like in my mind could be verticality. So it can be vertical battens. It can be high ceilings.
So
it can
funny
be
you say that.
vertical claddings. It can be whatever it is. And then I'll carry that inside. Like I might be able to do a balustrade or something. And I feel like that is a really easy way to kick a goal because it creates that kind of coherent style or theme, I guess.
Yeah. And whatever kind of, I guess, space that you design, I always feel like it's super holistic from like front door to back door. It's going to feel the same. You're going to be using a refined palette.
Yeah, I love that.
I feel like that's you. Like I would say steel, vertical elements in terms of like thin balustrade details, but then it's like beautiful brick or concrete or I don't know. And then a lot of like Myers Elliott landscape design
oh my
vibe.
goodness.
A lot of that.
I sent you one by Sean Carter today from Carter Williamson, the one with the like that is still under construction with like all the terrazzo-y stuff.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that might be the next evolution as well.
Do you mean the Scala?
It might be.
Crazy Pave?
Yeah, the Scala. Yeah, that one with like those just insane like built.
The curved
He'll
glass.
be coming up or they as a firm will be coming up in the future. Have no issue with that. It's maybe a new crush I've got. Okay. But don't worry, I won't turn my back. I will. I'm still in the background trying to figure out how to write like a non-creepy message to the guys at Myers Elliott.
Love it.
And potentially others that I might try and surprise you with. But we'll see how we go with that. So Mikaela, your personal design style.
Yep.
Hit us with it. Or do you want me to have a stab at it?
Oh, let me try.
You go.
Let me try and at least put it in a few sentences because I can 100% put hand on heart and say it has changed dramatically for me over definitely 5 years. I can say I've really transitioned quite a lot. So, but still similar items that are like key items that I like love that have gone from style to style regardless. Like I love wood burning fireplaces. I love traditional layouts in terms of like segregated rooms. I like neutral tonal palette, but that can go from minimalist to Georgian to transitional to Hamptons to like it can go from style to style, but I have all of those same key elements from each one. But
I love that.
I would say at the moment currently I'm really deep into Georgian and transitional.
That was the one I was going to bring up.
Yeah. So think of
My Dream Home. Studio
think
McGee.
of Studio McGee.
Imminently season 3 dropping.
Yeah. But
could not be more excited.
I really like a bit of like, I don't want to say like Scandinavian, because when people think Scandinavian design, they think black, white.
And or the
IKEA,
and like timber.
Not that. I think of like Belgian, European, think
like more raw material.
Think Vincent Van Dyson, minimalist. He also owns sausage dogs. Come at me.
Yep.
But do you know the architect, Vincent Van Dyson?
I honestly was about this and I stopped myself because I'm like, no, that guy's name is James Dyson. I thought you meant the guy invented the Dyson vacuum.
Okay, famous architect.
I'll let myself out.
Okay. Amazing.
I can't wait. I'm waiting for one of these questions to be like, who's your favourite architect? I'm like, me. Barry, Robbie.
No. Well, a good indication is like when I did my bathroom and it's like all the lime plaster walls, everything's super clean and minimal. I didn't want a lot of fuss. And then like stone flooring, but raw edges and pitting, and I wanted texture. But then don't get me wrong, I'm super OCD and I love panel work and high ceilings and coffered ceilings and limestone clad fireplaces and like I want
beautiful ornate cornice or something.
Yeah, and I want all that as well. So I'm like,
you're in the in-between.
Yeah, it's like a kid in a candy store. If I had $1 million to spend on candy and you just put me in the middle, I'd be like, I just want it all, just give it all. But I'd have to build 3 houses and then have my 3 different styles.
Goodness. You should, why not just build a 4th and do like a season in each?
Sure. I'll just win the lotto.
I mean, far out. Why not?
It's fine. But yeah, I think
maybe that's another question we should have asked.
Transitional at the moment. Let's
transitional?
Go. Yeah, but not so American.
More European transitional.
Yeah,
did we look at a project that you kind of described more as European transitional?
It was European Hamptons. I
think that was the one. Yeah. Cool. I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
As an opening question, I think that's a pretty good insight. Everyone at home's like, I don't know who any of these people are or what that means. I also thought that he invented the hairdryers.
Oh God. Now I'm like really...
You're nervous you didn't get it. Yeah.
Can I swear? Oh, I'm really shitting myself that I got it wrong and like his name isn't. It's like Vincent Van...
Go.
No.
We're going to do a live...
like, is it Vincent Van? Now you're
We're going to do a little quick Google thing. So I'm going to ask the next question while we stay on track. So Mikaela, while you're Googling, because this isn't going to be the answer.
Am I pronouncing it incorrectly? It's Vincent Van...
Duysen.
Vincent
Van... Duysen.
Yeah.
Duysen.
Like...
Is he like Dutch or something?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I reckon Duysen is a Dutch way of saying it.
It's, my favourite state. That's his house in Antwerp.
Damn, Daniel. Yeah. Look at the detail on the balustrade. Oh, Vincent. Be still. Everyone can see the ring lights. Very good. You know what I can do? I can put an image of it. Let me frame this. Right here, where my hand is in front of Mikaela's head, I will get your hand out of the way. I can superimpose an image over the top of Mikaela's face.
Yeah, anyway.
I'm going to remind myself of that. So, if you weren't an architect, because you're not, or a designer, an interior designer, because you are, what would you be? Do you want to do it in 2 parts? What were you before? And then if you couldn't have done it at all, what would you have ended up doing?
What was I doing? That was such a good question. What was I doing? I was a beauty therapist actually before
colour me shocked.
Right? What, can you? Do you not get no, are you not surprised?
No, I'm not surprised in the slightest. Like I think if you're like, for example, if you excel in design, usually you live in a nice space because you understand how everything is.
Vanity.
So if you're vanity in pure things, like if you want people to trust that you can make them look good, you've got to come together and present yourself in a certain way.
True.
So I'm not, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
No, I could never have been a full-time beauty therapist. It is such hard work.
Yeah.
It is such hard work. My hat goes off to all beauty therapists, hairdressers, anyone in that kind of trade that is on their feet 24/7 looking after everyone else. Like hat goes off to nurses, again, biggest.
I mean, it's easy for us in a service industry being like, oh my goodness, do you see what this person wrote in an email? Or it's like these people are right in front of you all the time.
Literally.
Like
anyone in customer service, full stop.
I couldn't be a hairdresser because I would run out of things to say after 3 minutes.
You would be the best hairdresser. You'd be like,
yeah,
hey
but
girl.
That's it. I wouldn't be a barber. I would be a female hairdresser.
Yeah, you would rule.
And everyone would be like, oh my goodness, Lachlan, when are you going to settle down? I'm like, oh, don't be silly.
Oh,
I have to go.
stop it.
And they're like, wait, you're married? I'm like, yes, I'm already taken.
Stop. You'd be flirting all day.
Oh, I would. I'd love the attention.
Yeah, you'd be flirting with all the old biddies though. Like this.
Oh, 100%. I've got to work my way into a few wills.
The 80 plus. Oh my goodness. You're going to a bad place. No. So I was a beauty therapist. I'm obviously now an interior designer. And I was so close within a week of deciding okay, I'm just going to go check out this interior design course and see where it takes me. Or I was going to do midwifery.
Midwifery? Oh, you would have been a pretty good midwife. Midwife. I reckon you would have been good.
I don't know.
I think you're very calming under pressure.
Oh, thank you.
Like I'd never seen, I mean, who knows, when we start working together, it might change. Mikaela will be my boss at the new opportunity as well, but we'll check back in.
Really?
I mean, what's different? I never got to do what I wanted to do anyway. You should have seen when we were picking out the stuff at the office. She was like, okay, yeah, that's nice, sure. But we're going to go with this one. Okay, maybe next time. Now put the blinds up. But I reckon you would have made a good midwife.
Thanks.
Like I think
hope so.
I think you would have been very, how do I say this? I reckon in that moment where they just need to like have the most amount of support, I think you could rally together a room if it was like getting a bit like out of control with like husbands and like family members and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, not two husbands of the same woman. That could be difficult. But even then, maybe you would shine.
Mothers-in-law.
Yeah.
It could get
just everything.
chaotic.
So I reckon you would be very good at like kind of like being let's focus up everybody.
I think it would be, it'd be hard work, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like being a midwife is one of the toughest jobs. Would I be up for it? Oh, it looks like it's
on your feet again all day.
Oh, it looks pretty tough, I'm not going to lie. But I feel like you'd get a lot of fulfillment.
Yeah, and I think see, now I'm wondering, do I answer midwife? Because I love babies. No. My goodness, I love fresh babies. My goodness.
You'd be like daycare worker.
Little freshies. No, I couldn't do that.
You could though. I reckon you'd be amazing at it. You'd be like, Freddie's in today, or you'd be so excited. I reckon you'd love it.
That's not for me.
Honestly, I can't actually imagine you not being good at something.
I'd be so good at like even like garbage man and stuff.
I feel like anything you put your mind to, you could do.
Yeah.
And
except for like anything where you would need like natural talent. Like imagine me as like a musical theatre person like your sister-in-law, and everyone's just like, oh, we really like him, but he can't sing for shit.
But I feel like you would practice so much just to be.
Caitlin would have left me. She's like, I can't listen to Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat one more time. I'm like, Caitlin, you need to listen. Listen, if I get the names on the colour, if I get the colour order on the coat incorrect, you need to tell me.
Okay.
Because I can't be on the stage at my local community hall and stuff it up in front of 8 people.
All right. I'm going to ask you the official question. If you weren't an architect or a designer, not that you're a designer, what would you be?
You're probably going to like hear this and be like, my goodness, you've got a lot of like ticks that like it counts out with.
Yeah.
So before I did architecture, I was in an accounting degree because I left year 12. I could not
picture you doing that.
I left year 12 being like, I'm going to be an accountant. I'm going to be a CPA. I'm going to make 85 grand a year. I'm going to have so much cash. I'm going to be so cool. I'm going to live in the city in a 1-bedroom apartment in a little bachelor's pad.
Look at you.
And I rocked up to uni. And I did maybe 2 months of it.
Yeah.
And after 2 months, I kind of like looked at the 300 people in the lecture hall and I said, in my head, I was like, you guys are all nerds. This is ridiculous.
You didn't put yourself in the same box.
I got like A's at high school for accounting. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's a little bit of assets plus assets take liability. That's owner's equity. We know what's happening here. Like tangible, intangible, all the good bits.
Buzzwords. I love it.
I rocked in and like these people like talking about stuff. I'm like, what? Like, aren't we just using MyOp? Like, is what's happening right now? So that was my plan, and that's what I tried to tell.
Did I get nervous?
Yeah, that was just itchy. I wasn't pulling out the eyebrows. Although maybe I am getting nervous. That's what I used to tell girls to try and impress them. And I think it was from a point of view of like, I've got a plan for my future. I'm going to be a CPA.
Yeah, you are. So you obviously chucked that out the window and went to architecture pretty quick.
But I don't know why I picked architecture. I was thinking about it when I did my university preferences. I literally think because alphabetically it was the one after accounting when I did like my preferences. So I did accounting, some like accounting double degree, architecture, landscape architecture. Like I just put things because like architecture was like a graphics subject. So I was like, I kind of remember doing that. I got a D in art in year 8 and I never did it again.
Do you think it's a bit of a weird jump from like accounting to architecture? Because I feel like that's a bit of a weird jump.
You say that. I think
left brain, right brain.
I am not a like artistic wise. I'm artistic. I'm not an incredible artistic.
Yep,
I'm not an incredible designer. Like I can't paint a picture. I can't even hand draw. And it's been 7 years of me having that as my New Year's resolution.
I forced you to sketch. You sketch now.
I stress sketch.
Like
there was a new guy who started at Hal like yesterday, and like I was trying to do markups for him, and I was going like so nervously. I was holding the pen so tight, but I've never been that. But the problem solving side of it, is something that does I guess closely relate to accounting and stuff.
Systematic.
Yeah.
Systematic with your approach to architecture, which I think that's a huge positive because a lot of architects are a little bit more design minded or I'll figure out the details later.
Yeah,
and you're
a little bit too left brain.
Yeah, and you're like, no, it has to work. Otherwise there's no point designing it, which 100%. For me, I think is an actual huge pro that a lot of architects don't have.
And I think probably that's why we work together quite well is I'm bad cop, you're good cop. I give you the parameters and the footprint to work within.
It's true.
You come up with stuff.
Or I say, can that work? Can
and
you
then
just make it work?
We sit in a meeting, you're like, I want to do this. And I kind of sit there and start plucking my eyebrows going, shit, you're promising the world right now and I can't back this up. I'm going to have to find someone to blame.
I'm like, it's fine. Look, his eyebrow will grow back.
Yep. But in terms of what I did before becoming an architect, I did a lot of temp. I've done so many jobs. Let me list them out. So my first ever job was I was the fish guy at a pet store. Yep. I did that from when I was 14. Then I worked at IGA as a veggie produce guy.
Okay.
Then I worked at the AFL teaching Auskick at primary schools for 6 months. That's where I think maybe I'm good with kids. Yep. Having said that, I did that.
Teacher.
I still didn't have my driver's license by this point. So my friend Chris, who I went to the wedding in Cairns, he would drive me because he was like a trainee at the AFL. So he would like just drive me places to do these things. It was friggin' awesome. That was a great 6 months. Then I did a temp job working on a project at Suncorp where I was doing data entry. Then I did a governance role at Suncorp and I did like, what else did I do? There was a time where I was like a video game streamer online where I made like $6,000 in a year while I was doing uni.
Didn't you do like the speak over or whatever it's called?
The speak over?
You know, when people play games and then you narrate it?
I was a streamer. Yeah.
Is that what
a streamer,
is that the technical term? Sorry, guys.
But here's the thing. Much like drawing, I wasn't good at playing the games, so it was never a competitive thing. So I would do entertaining streams.
Oh, like it's entertaining, is it?
Yeah, there was one time where if you donated $1.50, I would eat a chicken nugget, and I ate 62 chicken nuggets in one sitting. I did a 24-hour stream where I did the entire way. This is too much. People don't need to know this.
Wow.
So I did that for a year instead of like getting a job and making money easier.
Yep.
None of that went to the ATO. That was all tax. It's under the threshold. It's under the threshold. It would have affected my MyGov wage. What do you call it? Study wages.
Yep.
I did that. Then I went and did temp work at Shine Lawyers for like a year, and then that's when I had my interview at Hal. And then I literally walked in, and because I was
studying for architecture during all this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I did all of that, and then when I got the full-time job, I got to walk into Shine and be like, "I'm a temp. See you later, bitches.
Woo.
Deuces."
So how was your first full-time
My first full-time proper gig.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at you.
Like I'd done stints of working full-time at these other ones, like the jobs at like Suncorp and the other places I temped. Like I would do in between December, like the end of uni and then the start of the next year, like I would do 12, 13 weeks full-time doing that. So I was used to an office environment.
Oh, I'm not questioning your ability to work full-time.
I'm not questioning your ability to be able to work from 8:30 to 5. I think you would really struggle with that. That's an inside joke for the boys.
The boys.
The boys. I really like that question though. That really makes me happy though.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got punished.
I've done so. You didn't get punished
that.
at all.
No,
I've had so many jobs.
It's actually past 5:30, so you need to go.
You actually need to leave, Lachlan.
All right. Am I going to next one? Okay.
Yeah, yep.
What personality traits do you believe make you a better architect or designer?
Ooh, okay. So as an architect,
Mm-hmm.
I like to think of myself as an empath.
Okay.
And I think that helps me because no matter who calls me, I think I'm quite good at taking off my hat as an architect and putting on the hat of whether it's the client, the
Mm-hmm.
builder, some random subby on site, a disgruntled neighbour who's grabbed my contact details from the sign we've put out the front, and listen to them.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
not just like listen to them, but hear them. And I think that's one of the reasons why this works with the podcast. Kind of understand where they're coming from, try and diffuse it or understand their motivations behind things. Because there's no point in me trying to push like for an
never
amazing
push your agenda. You're always pushing the agenda of the client or whoever.
What is the outcome you're after?
Yeah.
In terms of what makes me a good designer, I like to think I'm quite thorough in terms of
even what we were saying before.
I don't want to paint myself. I don't want to paint myself into a corner. I don't want to cut corners and make short-term gains for longer-term pain. Like I don't want to kind of cheat my way through something and then
have to figure it out
suffer
later.
the consequences of that. Like say during like the sketch design of something, going, oh, she'll be right, I'll figure out later, and then kind of detailing it all and being like, there's no space left, and now I've got to put X, Y, Z, and I haven't figured out where the water meters are going or whatever.
Yeah.
I would prefer to have contingency. And so I think that's something that I'm kind of always at the mind, and it might mean that I'm maybe not the best architect to come to or designer to come to if you're trying to 100% maximize out of sight. But it means I get to live a bit of a stress-free life, and so does the client and the builders.
You say that, yet I feel like the builders, your clients, they're the ones that really, I guess, succeed out of having you as an architect because you say you're like, I avoid the stress, but because you're so empathetic, you're like, no, I won't go home until I figure this out.
Yeah.
Or like you will just go above and beyond to make sure
Oh my goodness, thank you so
that
much.
you succeed in giving the best outcome because you've gone through every scenario and you're like, no, this is going to be the most efficient, the most cost effective, and it's going to get you the best outcome.
I will tell you something. The one downside of that, and for everyone playing along at home, if you're ever just engaging someone to do professional services, being able to take a step back and think about it, because I've done projects where it has gone so smoothly, and in the grand scheme of things, the hiccup that comes up on site, on other jobs, it's not even something. It's just a non-starter. It doesn't matter. But because nothing else has happened until this point, they kind of lose perspective of it all, and they're like, oh my goodness, this is going to cost me like $2,000 to like fix this or whatever, where the reason it's costing you $2,000 and not tens, 20, like hundreds of thousands of dollars before then is because of all the careful thought. So it's the same thing with the building industry at the moment, with kind of builds going over time and liquidated damages coming into effect. It's being able to take a step back and go, am I being kind of singled out in terms of how I'm being hard done by, or is this actually pretty fair? Everything considered, because there's always a middle point. And I think doing my registration process to become an architect, I had to do a thing called contract administration, where I would go on site and I'd be the middleman between the client and the builder. I'd have to assess a builder's claim in terms of they're claiming this much work's been done. I go out, I have a look, I'm like, yeah, kind of, but you're claiming for vanities and stuff, and you've showed me a photo of them, but they're not physically here, so I can't give you the money for that, because what if they get stolen from your place? And so then the clients, like I give the clients a thing being like, hey, listen, he's bought the vanities, they're not here. I can't certify that, but just know that the next claim, I've told him to bring them on site and install them. So the next one might be a little bit more of a jump. So I try and make sure that even though they might feel like they're being shortchanged now, that it does get
You're
fixed.
very morally driven.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think just a little bit more common sense and kindness.
Personality
I like that.
trait.
Yeah.
You are very moral driven and extremely patient.
Yeah.
And very empathetic, which I feel just personality wise, then intertwined with your skills. Like I don't think anyone on the podcast can realize like,
oh, the dogs are here as well. Sorry, everybody.
was that a good stretch.
Is that a goodie?
Okay.
Can you see him? That's Huey. This is Huey. Oh my goodness. This is the first time on the pod. All right, down you get, pal.
Get down.
Come
on. I feel like intertwined with your skills that you have, and again, I know no one on the podcast will know this without obviously
knowing me personally
having the benefit of having you as an architect, but like how quick and efficient you are with your documentation. Like I know you said obviously you do all this editing for the potty, you do all the what did you call it? Streamer?
Oh, the video game streaming. Yeah.
But like
I was on Twitch. I had t-shirts. I had merch.
Whoa.
Grab the Trace merch coming soon.
But just how, like, obviously tech-minded you are, but that also goes hand in hand with our CAD programs. And even in the office, you're always the person like, oh, my God, my computer broke down. Can you just, like, fix it? So you're, like, the IT go-to. Or
troubleshooter.
and you're the CAD person to go to. And that combined with your personality traits, I think is, like, killer combo.
Thank you so much.
For an architect. So I know when you said, you didn't actually answer the last question about what would you be if you weren't an architect? You just said everything that you used to be.
I think I said I'd be an accountant.
What?
An accountant, because that's what I was doing at uni before
you would
architecture.
Actually, right now, if you weren't an architect,
to be legit with you, sorry everybody to jump back.
Right.
I watched a movie called Up in the Air with George Clooney, and he was a business transition consultant. So he pretty much flew around, and this isn't the answer, but it leads to the answer. So he this is Tangent City over here. He would fly in this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. So he would fly around to different companies, and he would fire people because the companies were too afraid to do it, or they were worried they'd stuff it up.
He was like the HR.
I just wanted to work in a company where I could fly domestically multiple times a week.
What? You want to live in an airport?
Not so much that.
You just want to live in hotel to hotel, never be home.
No, just little day trips. But I just wanted to be. I wanted to be in business.
Okay,
I just wanted to be middle management.
Wanted to be. If you literally were like, I'm done with architecture, what would you do tomorrow?
Stay-at-home dad's off the table, so we'll put that one to rest. Geez, it's a great question. If I had to...
I wish I wrote it down. Oh, I did.
You did, actually, yeah. I think I would take my problem solving or be a project manager, whether that's infrastructure, whether that's construction, whether that's just projects. Like I think I'd be quite... And we'll find out in terms of delegating and getting the most out of people as a resource.
You know who you kind of remind me of, and I don't know if I can...
George Clooney and Up in the Air?
No, you can beep it if this is not appropriate.
Why?
But
you can say it in the microphone.
Well, can you beep it later? Because
sure,
it's like an
why?
actual person. Brendan from 5 Point.
Oh, thank you so much.
PM.
Yeah,
like that, how you're like...
Yeah.
Approach work or how you speak or
that's it, how he carries himself. He's never like this is one
very
of the project managers we worked with on some apartment buildings, one Bulimba. If you look that up, he was just always kind. If something came up on site that needed to be resolved, he would never get angry or kind of flip
he's
it.
Just very clear, get very like
and
calm.
he would always present options. Opportunities, and then you can kind of then either take them on board, disregard them, come up with a counter offer. And that's why that project was so... That was one of my favourite ones.
He's one of the best project managers that I've worked with.
Shout out, Brendan.
Yeah.
Shout out. Yeah.
So sorry. Back to personality.
So what would you... So, all right, sorry. It's my turn to ask Mikaela a question.
Sorry.
You know what? In terms of how this episode's running, I think we split this in two.
Yeah, I love it.
I think because how nice is this?
Get to know us again.
And I can imagine this isn't so much a visual affair.
Yeah.
So this is perfect for people on the... Well, in terms of if you're just listening on Spotify or podcasts or whatever for like driving in.
Yeah, you don't have to like try and be like, I have no idea what floor plan they're talking about or what they're doing.
I mean, you'll be upset because you can't see Huey's like sniffing the plants behind Mikaela, but that's fine. So what personality traits do you believe make you I completely missed it, a better designer? Whether that be interior or any other kind of design that you do.
Okay.
Listen, I'd say it's raw talent, natural ability, winning smile.
I feel like I personally have worked really hard to actually make my personality work for interior design. I don't think it's an actual... I don't think if you had met me prior to being an interior designer that you'd be like, oh my God, you're such an interior designer. I feel like I'm not actually.
You're not very interior designing, you reckon?
Yeah, I don't think I am.
Do you think that's because when you think of interior designers, there's kind of two lanes? There's either the power suit wearing interior designers.
See, I don't think of a power suit.
What do you think then? Like, do you feel like the more like indie kind of grassroots kind of thing?
Oh, not really. Not like hippie interior designery, like eco warrior kind of one. No, I feel it's more
bold identities.
I don't even know. Just not me. I just don't. Yeah. I don't think you would ever meet me and guess like, oh, she's an interior designer.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
That is 100%. The day I met you and they were like, "This is Mikaela. She's the interior designer." I'm like, it couldn't be anything else.
Really?
It is.
I feel the complete opposite.
It's the whole idea of, oh fuck, this is, and that's a swear word as well. This is such a smoke up the ass thing for both of us. But when you look at certain people who have a certain winning kind of...
Oh, winning. No,
how do I say this? Beautiful people, beautiful spaces is how I'll shorten it.
Great.
That's how I'll shorten it.
I feel like, I don't know, I'd feel like I'd meet someone like me or similar personality-wise and I'd be like, oh, are you in like HR or property development?
Like a flight attendant or something?
What's wrong with a flight attendant?
No, I'm saying like flight attendants like usually stunning people.
Oh, okay, I'll take that.
But they once again, on your feet all day.
Yeah, it's really
hard work. Not for us. We're wheel-based guys over here.
I feel like not accountant or like left brain, like lawyer. I wouldn't be that. But I'd like HR, property management.
Sure.
Business, some sort of like, that's where I thought if people met me, that's what they'd think I'd do. But personality traits, which I think help, are... I know my husband can definitely contest to this, but my memory is wild.
Yeah, like in terms of being like, you will never forget anything.
Never.
She will never forgive either. Like there was one day she rocked up wearing a white t-shirt tucked into white jeans and I asked when the rest of NSYNC was arriving and boy howdy, is that never still simmering. Again.
I would like to note that they were beige.
Oh, were they? Sorry.
They were beige pants with a white shirt.
Also, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
What could be a great thing is these questions we're asking.
Yeah.
Why don't we put them up as a poll on the Instagram as well in terms of like, what did the audience think that we would be in terms of like a job or something?
Yeah, let's see. That'll be interesting.
That'd be a good idea, hey?
Yeah,
because then people will like look at us and be like, oh, obviously Bambi watcher, Bambi jumper. And they would look at me and they would be like, oh my goodness, podcast, executive producer, director.
Obviously. No. Hold on. Personality trait. I've got to get this out.
Yes, your personality trait. So your personality trait doesn't necessarily align with interior design.
Well,
so what of your personality
does help?
Definitely
my memory. I can, and I always contest whenever we've got like new interior designers coming through or anyone that I'm like training or grads that come on board. I always say, and without like taking offense at all, I always say, interior designers are only as good as the materials that they know. So you can only spec something, document something, design something when you know it exists. So I'm all for meeting every single rep that you can talk to, getting to know your catalog in terms of materials, finishes, and then you know the square meterage of that, because then that's helpful when you speak to your clients and you go, oh, yep, $25 a square meter tile, got that. Okay, cool. I've got $120 a square meter in stone budget. Great, I can work with that. And then as your knowledge grows and your library kind of grows in your mind, your ability grows. So I feel like memory is really good. And then also client correspondence. If a client, oh, do you remember when I had that chat and I mentioned that thing? Yep, I remember exactly. You mentioned that you wanted the 115 mil architraves and then we could do the 230 skirting, blah, 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 blah. I already, like, it's just memory helps you so much in this game.
Yep.
And then... definitely a little bit of OCD, let's not be wrong. I'm a stickler for detail and aesthetic details. So my documentation, everything needs to line up, everything needs to be...
consistent spacing, 125 mils apart. Listen, I've been there. When I was Becky, I was there.
Yeah.
Also,
all
as a side note,
everything.
You mentioned, I think when you were like there, you were like getting to know you or something, like you said something like that, and I'm like, that's the episode title, like without even thinking that's the title of the episode. It's episode 45, Getting to Know You, part 1.
Getting to know me. So memory, definite. What's a nice way of saying OCD? Because that's an actual condition people do have.
I'd say attention to detail.
Attention to detail, pedanticness.
Yeah. Presentation. Both like in terms of how you present yourself as a professional and then in terms of your work as well.
And then I feel like there's kind of two avenues to my job. So there's obviously like the interior design component, which if you don't work towards that or put a lot of energy and effort and time into that, you can never really step towards the next path, which is more managerial, people management, project management, business development, client relations. So that side of it as well, I feel like I can speak quite passionately about.
Yeah, you can make the pitch, you can make the sale.
I can. Yeah, I feel like that's a huge component of what I do and it helps.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I pitch?
Yeah.
So the next set of questions we've got are about more our renovating experience.
Part 2.
I think part 2.
Yeah,
I think this
absolutely.
is a really good one in terms of who we are as people. Then we've got some renovating questions, and then we're kind of now like the final ones are kind of like best rules or stuff. But maybe I guess the only other one that doesn't fit is maybe to finish off. The one question I've kind of contributed here. Let me throw this one in the list there. So, and this is fun because Mikaela and I were just booking some accommodation for someone's birthday holiday.
Woo.
Mikaela,
Yeah.
what is the best designed place that you've stayed at on a holiday?
I have 2.
Okay. What are the best
2.
designed places, I guess? Sure.
All right. I've been 2 definitely Stay True or
Stay True.
Yeah, no, 2. They're equal. First one is down in Byron Bay. I stayed at the Bower, which just typical Byron Bay bougie accommodation. So the thing that I really loved about it was it had this ensuite connected to the bedroom area, had this ensuite with a full pitched roof that was all completely glass.
Stop, really?
Yeah. So you sit in the bath and you literally look up to the stars in the morning.
A bit nice.
All the sun comes through. It's like, it's really beautiful. I think that was, I don't know. I always look at like bougie kind of accommodation places and find like what's their wow factor. Like what's the one thing that you go, oh, that's a bit nice. And to me, like a fireplace always does it. That's usually right at the top. But the Bower with the glass ceiling in the bathroom, and the second place, fireplace, but this was at the Piermont in Tasmania. So this was on like near Freycinet, and it was like these little stone cottages, and it was like a little bit dated. Like it was probably maybe 15 years old. So it wasn't like brand spanking new, but it was these beautiful little like stone cottages, open chimney, wood burning fireplace. It had this like raised section that you go up a few, like a split level to this like bed area. It had this cute little bathroom with a spa bath. Like it was just really sweet, really nice.
Beautiful.
And then you're literally sitting on the cliffs looking out over the ocean. Like,
Come on.
Right.
Let's get it going.
All right. So let me ask you.
You're going to have to undo the jinx. Do I have to buy you Coke? Is that what people do?
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never done jinx before.
I don't know. Just don't pinky promise.
I'll prom you. I'll half promise.
All right. Best designed accommodation while you've been on holiday.
Okay. So the first answer I had that we were talking about earlier before the show was one that has been on the Inspiration Gram a while ago. We covered it in terms of the Carlisle Hotel. That was where I had my like mini honeymoon.
Very cute.
The kind of immediately after I got married.
Yep.
And it was just that, I think earlier I was mentioning in terms of my style, the texture and the palette of that. It was all like
So
pastels. Cute. It was all really, really, I don't know, it was fun. It was a
really
fun
nice.
place to stay in.
It's won how many design awards? Like it's
so many. Richard and Spence
beautiful.
really knocked it out of the place in that. And we didn't even have like one of the, like we had a tiny, tiny little like smoker's balcony, but you like walk out onto it. And even that feels
Did you
like
have the
nice.
poolside view?
No, we were out facing. There's a new like rod and gun restaurant.
Yeah.
We were facing like out that way.
Nice.
It's like still a beautiful view.
Beautiful. The whole place is beautiful.
Even this is.
Did you have the pink bathroom?
We had the green. We had a green like
nice.
beautiful subway tile. Oh my goodness. And just the way that it was all set up where there was like the wardrobe, it was just all joinery.
Yeah. It was really cleverly
just loved
designed.
it.
Yeah, it was
just
really
loved it.
nice.
And The thing that I was losing my mind over as an architect was I would walk in the lobby and I'd be like, what's that? And you would like, because the walls are all like travertine, like tiles or whatever. There are some that are like pushed open. That's where the fire extinguisher is. It lives behind like a concealed thing that's like there. And it's just got like a little sign.
Walk. We should do a grab the trace day.
We should do like walkie-talkie. Like we'll walk around with all this stuff. Oh my God, we can go to the...
We should go to Hellenica for lunch.
Isn't there the Fiona Lynch little fit out there as well?
Did I tell you? I went there for dinner last night.
Actually, Brock did mention that to me, actually. Yeah.
I just went and got Italian on James Street and we walked past and I was like, Brock, this is the Fiona Lynch.
This is Fiona's one.
Fiona's work. And he was like, what?
It's stunning. I mean, he doesn't get... Now we're going to be commercial guys.
He doesn't get it at all. He was like, what? I get cool light. I'm like, don't you dare.
It is cool, isn't it?
Bite your tongue.
Bite your tongue, devil.
And you had to walk past Zimmerman to get to it. So I'm like...
Oh, we can do that for sure. Because then even there's the little like Queenslander that's been turned into the restaurant with the rod and gun store next door and all the like breeze block. Oh my goodness.
This is our jam.
But like even the handrails and stuff for the accessible stair, like it is...
Beautiful.
Kind architecture, even in like the public interface where they get no return for it.
Yeah.
But they do get the return now because all the tenants of all the little shop fronts and stuff, just the turnover's nuts.
It would be.
I'd say that. And then my other one would be the Glebe in New Zealand, but that's just location in terms of Queenstown and like facilities.
I didn't even do anything international.
I remember like sitting
Paris accommodation.
This is how long ago I went there. I remember sitting on the couch and $1 Million Baby must have come out the first time, like on TV or whatever. And I was watching it. And my heart dropped when Hilary Swank like hit the chair, like the little stool. I was like, sorry, Huey.
Oh, Huey.
Sorry, I just scared him. Like I got scared. There he is again.
Bye.
That's it. Like, but that one was more location facilities because it's kind of like tiered into the land side.
Queenstown,
just stunning.
Did you catch the ferry or a boat like down? Like, so you could see all the Queenstown architecture as you went?
No. So we were there because we were on a ski holiday. But having said that, in year 12, I went on camp and I did the walk up around there.
Oh, yeah.
And so then we got the like little water taxi from there back into the harbour.
The water taxi.
Yeah. I have done that. I lied. And Fergburger, and you go in the little ice bar and stuff as well. And the KFC. Just stunning.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love that so much.
Oh, Queenstown, who would go there?
Yeah, I know. I mean, but even having said that, like I've been to New York and I stayed in like a little tight, cramped box
same.
thing. But having said that, like it's pretty fun.
Anywhere in Europe, like it's more the location. It's not really the accommodation. Yeah. But we've listed our favourite if you just wanted to go for the accommodation.
Yeah, those are the two places. Stunning. With big recommendation from the podcast. Get in touch for like, I don't know, discount rates or whatever.
Yeah, we'll come stay.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we're gonna listen. We're gonna call close here.
I will
listen, everybody, and watch. We're gonna close. The amount of times I was on the phone to people today.
Yeah.
I tried to say, "I'll have that sorted for you shortly."
And what'd you say?
Short. So I stuffed it up, and so then I like tried to recover. I'm like, "Sorry, Jerry. I'll short that shortly." Oh. And he said, "It's okay. I get it." I'm like, "Thank you," and I hung up. Shout out to Jerry from Gowdy Group.
Oh, I would die.
Yeah, listen, I did. I've had a real rough time on the phones this week.
It's because you know you're holding in something.
I really am. It's this dark, bitter secret that's eating me away. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll be back for part 2.
Very excited.
Let's just play some music and have some fun. And then we'll be back to talk about our renovation kind of woes and triumphs.
Woo. Bye, guys.
Bye.
What?
That was really... Bye.
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 We've come to the end of another episode. If you have any questions, reach out to us on our Instagram @GrabTheTrace. Following, sharing, leaving a review or a rating is the best way to help the show. Our opening and closing music was created by Robert Hellberg. And whilst we try to help as much as possible, this podcast is of a general nature and won't be able to take into account your individual circumstance. If you need personalised advice, you should engage a relevant professional consultant to help make the best decisions for your situation. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.